Community Viewpoint with John Pollock and Maria Hurst.
And welcome once again for another session of Community Viewpoint. I'm John Pollock, your host for this segment, and hopefully the second segment I'll be here also. We have a special program today with a friend of mine for a few years, Tammy, and Tammy has a gentleman with her, Matt, and we'll be talking about what's something called Angel in the Dark Crisis Centers. And I will let Tammy introduce herself and her guest, and we will go from there.
Hi, Tammy Brownlow. I'm with Angel in the Dark Crisis Center. It was the Pahrump Suicide Program. It's kind of branched off and doing a few things now. And with me today is our Executive Director, Dr. Matthew Mitchell.
Tammy says she's with Angel in the Dark Crisis Center, but the bottom line is she's the founder, she's the president, she's the head of the steering committee, and she tries to be conservative in her personal accolades. If it weren't for Tammy, obviously I wouldn't be here, and a number of the programs that we're streaming into the community would not be available if it were not for Mrs. Brownlow.
All right, well, try to recover from that one, okay?
I don't think there's any recover. So I think you have some questions. We're going to talk about veterans first.
Veterans, well, you've heard me either at town board meetings, you've heard me speak about that through the newspapers, on the show also. What WestCare is doing with AmeriCorps is reaching out to veterans for something that's called a stand down, which is happening, a specific item called a stand down, which is happening March 27th and 28th in Las Vegas. This is something, a project put on by U.S. vets, and they do a bang-up job for the veterans that are in Las Vegas and their families also, that are down on their luck, that are in crisis situations, that are homeless. We here have done some smaller stand-downs in the past, and we at WestCare through AmeriCorps, which I'm a veteran member of, are going to bring our veterans to this event at Cashman Field through, we have a van, and we could take up to 5 veterans per day. This is a 2-day event, and if you'd like to become part of that, you can talk to whatever the DAV, Ken Shockley, or any of the other veterans folks over here. You can talk to them, and they'll put you in touch with us so you can get pre-registered with the U.S. vets. You can call us directly at WestCare at 775-751-6990, or through your Veterans Administrator also. You can be a veteran, you can be a family member of a veteran also, but they do screening for health screening, they do medical, dental. They have clothing over there, sleeping bags, you have jackets, different articles of clothing. It's very well run. They help people in Las Vegas find jobs over there, and possibly we could find something for some of our veterans over here if you so choose to do that. You're there, we know you're there. If you're in need in any way, please let us know, because the help is there for you. And so once again, 775-751-6990. This is what I do with AmeriCorps. And this is a specific project that we have for the stand down, and that'll be March 27th and 28th at Cashman Field. And so this is what I'm doing, and I've gone to the Salvation Army. They have the paperwork. VFW, I went to Health and Human Services yesterday. The WIC has everybody's got the literature. So we're doing what we can. We're going to go out in the field and try to introduce ourselves to the veterans also. Night Community Coalition has the word also. So it's not like a lack of trying, because we're going to do what we can to reach out to you. So we're there for you if you so choose to make yourself, avail yourself of these facilities, of these things that you may need to help you get that one leg up and get you started on the road to recovery. Okay, no matter if you're a Vietnam vet like myself, Or somebody just came home from Iraq or Afghanistan. So if you're in need of help, we're there for you. And just like you're there for them too. But you're going to be there 24/7.
Yes, we have a few different programs going on right now that's vet related. A couple of them are educational. I'll let Dr. Matthew, because he's dealt more into that area than I have, so I'll let him explain what we're doing.
What we're doing with the vets are unique, but it's foundational.
Mm-hmm.
What we're concerned with, obviously, is the disabled vet and or the vet that's disadvantaged.
Okay.
We're of the position that these men and women have put their lives on the line for us in so many ways, and the community at large should be a part of their re-assimilation into our communities. So what Angel in the Dark has done, well, primarily, we were concerned primarily with the suicide rate at large, Nevada being the #1 state in the entire country. Falling victim to suicide was just unheard of, and it's unreasonable. But then when I look at the national average, we find that the veterans have been plagued in a specific way. Every 82 minutes I have a veteran taking his life, taking her life, and this is national. But in our own backyard, we have veterans who are at risk for all kinds of other situations. They're hungry, they're displaced, they're misunderstood, oftentimes they're walked over. People walk past vets. Sometimes they don't even speak to them. We have a vet who dedicates himself to hanging the flag on 160. 2 or 3 times a week, he's there flying the American flag because he has served his country and he's still serving his country. Well, Angel in the Dark determined that we needed to give a special attention to the veteran community. We don't want to have this recidivistic approach. Pick them up, throw them down. Pick them up, throw them down. We want to enable the veteran to become a responsible, functioning member of the community. So what we've done is we've petitioned with Veteran Affairs so that we might be in a position to develop local counseling, local hands-on preparation. We're even concerned about raising them up from the streets, obviously. So examining them individually became important to us. We understand that people look at a vet and all they can see is someone who's a warmonger, who's a victim of post-traumatic stress disorder because of the traumas that they've had to face. Being a Vietnam vet, you're fully aware of the traumas associated with it.
Very much so, yes.
So not only do we want to talk and interface with these men and women, let them know that they're respected, let them know that they're accepted, we want to demonstrate it. Too many times people will say, we love you, and don't demonstrate that love. So what Angel in the Dark decided we would do is we would approach the Veteran Affairs and we would ask them to enable us with the vets by providing a stipend where possible for these men and women who are homeless. Very few people are homeless by decision. Sometimes situations and circumstances brought them to that pass. So men and women who would agree to hands-on counseling, hands-on job training, hands-on reunification with family and with the community. And they would do it systematically, not happenstancely, where they would show up once a month whenever things are really bad for them, but consistently. We've developed a post-traumatic stress disorder system of counseling, system of disclosure, system of enabling the vet to understand why he or she thinks the way they think. You see, we're of the position that if we understand how we think, then we can be prepared for the stimuli which causes us to act or react variously, and in the minds of many people, completely inappropriately. We don't see our vets that way. Now, I don't know how much talking you want me to do, but I can go on and on about my vets. But through the VA system, we're concerned about offering them a stipend. At this point, we haven't gotten past $68 per week. But when you've got no dollars per week and you find yourselves involved in systematic programs, that $68 can become foundational to your getting that sleeping bag, getting off the streets. One of the other issues we were looking at is possible transitional housing for them, where living skills would be employed. Teach them the things that they knew before going in, because we understand that all too often, these are men and women who ran their homes. These were men and women who paid their bills, men and women who were respected in their relative communities. But because of situations and circumstances which have altered them mentally and socially, and then when they get back home, they're not socially accepted, they begin to regress. So what we determined we would do is we would reach out to them in the state of despair, in the situations that cause them to regress, and give them a hand up as opposed to a hand out. Not that we're being recalcitrant toward anyone who does anything else. It's just that we determined that we were going to do it systematically, and we were going to redevelop or enable them to redevelop themselves, the whole man and the whole woman.
Okay. It'd be great to have all the different groups that are working towards this end speaking to each other. That's why I like to hang around the Night Community Coalition with myself, what I do with AmeriCorps, and I reach out to other groups too, and then just make sure that we all talk to each other. And so what is it? United we stand. And it's for the better welfare of the veterans that we're trying to reach out to. But yeah, so I'm glad you're here talking about that, so we can have a closer bond, and then with the other groups, because I know the VA clinic here is reaching out a little bit more than they were before after I had spoken to them. So that kind of, it makes me feel better. And there's the DAV, you've spoken to them, I've spoken to them, the VFW, and all these different groups that are here. If we're working together on the same page, we'll be able to do a lot more than we have been in the past.
Well, I'm going to take a card out from a very smart lady over at DAV, our wonderful commander that we have over there, and ask Dr. Matt to kind of give you his background a little bit, because it is military related.
Well, when you have been a part of our service for 22 years, 4 months, 13 days.
Not that you're counting.
I don't know the hours. When you've been interfaced in that particular venue of living, you understand some of the stresses that people are involved with. You understand some of the issues that people day to day are confronted with. Now, Tammy likes to put everything on the table, so at this point, I guess we will.
Okay.
Been there, done that, been accepted, been recapacitated, character assassination, and those kinds of things. I understand what a vet goes through. I understand the issues of a vet's life. But additionally, my church has been extremely good to me in the past. Well, still good, but in the past they expressed it in such a way that they determined that I would be allowed to study situations and circumstances from an ethnocentric perspective, from a psychological perspective, and then Tammy has enabled me to see the values of getting in the community and doing the community grassroots analysis. When we walk through the community, we're going to see people. We're going to see how the community has its uplifting process in that person's life, and all too often how easy it is for a person to have slipped through a crack or two. So that's where we are. I'm uniquely qualified to do this because Mrs. Brownlow has forced me to become uniquely qualified. And so she's caused me again to reassess how I think and to come to some grips with respects to the areas of intervention we should be involved in.
Okay, we will continue at that in part 2, and thank you for watching. Thank you for coming here, and we'll see you on the next segment of Community Viewpoint.